Now it's time to take you to our star special of the show, One in the Game. And today we're going straight to Zimbabwe. Now, veteran all-rounder Sikandar Raza has made history by becoming the first Zimbabwe player to win the ICC Men's Player of the Month. Now, it's a great one to see that Raza beat New Zealand all-rounder Santner and England test keeper Ben Stokes to claim that monthly award. Now, with the 36-year-old scoring 3 ODI centuries during the month alone, this man alone, Sikandar Raza. Raza's 3 centuries for the month came against world-class attacks, with the right-handers unbeaten, 135 against Bangladesh at the start of the month. Arguably, that's the best so far. He was also Zimbabwe's star with the ball, and despite bowling the difficult overs in the death, he ended up with an impressive figures of 356 from his 10 overs. Raza almost pulled off a great one in the final ODI against India, and of course, unlike the previous occasions, he found little support from the other end. He was chasing 290. He was also agrees until the penultimate over. The 95 ball, 115 went in vain as India held their nerve to the final stages to complete a whitewash. So it's great to see that I had to read the great accomplishment of one man who has picked up the Player of the Month of August, being the first Zimbabwean to ever pick that award there. It's great to have, of course, joining us on the show today, Zimbabwe's all-rounder, Sikandar Raza. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you very much for having me on the show. It's a true honor and privilege to be on this show.
And it's always a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you. Do you know I'm talking to one who has picked up the Player of the Month? Never done before in Zimbabwe. It's great to see that. You created history by becoming the first Zimbabwean player to win the ICC Men's Player of the Month award. You beat the likes of Santner and also Ben Stokes to claim that monthly award for August. Your score of 3 ODI centuries, that does it for me during that month alone, earned you this, of course, accolade. How were you able to accomplish this?
There was a lot of good things that we did prior to that tour. We won the qualifiers. We were in a very good space. Then we won the T20s against Bangladesh as well. So we were in a very good space as well. I had a very good T20 series against Bangladesh as well with 2 50s in a row. And we managed to win the series. So there were a lot of things happening, a lot of good things happening in the changing room. So you take that confidence out in the middle, and sometimes innings starts to build, and before you know, you start calculating and you can see the finishing line. And for me, what was important was to make sure the team crosses that line and we win the game.
Great one there. See, the fact that it is all about you being the spotlight makes me so happy. Now, you were listed among the top 4 with the most international runs in 2022. I cannot forget that name, Baba Azam. Baba Azam had 1,474. Lytton Das had 1,396 in top 2. And we've got Johnny Bepstow having 344. That's 1,344. And you were placed in the 4th place having 1,161. Now, there's something to note here. You were the only African in the top 4 there having the best innings for 2022. Can anyone stop Sikandar Raza this season?
I hope not, but what I would certainly would hope that there's more Africans to join in that list. So listen, we've got a lot of games coming. We've got the World Cup. Zimbabwe is hosting some bilateral tours against some of the top countries as well before the year ends. So fingers crossed, all the praise that I'm receiving, thank you for that as well. Hopefully I can add a lot more runs to that tally of 1,000 and whatever. And hopefully I can finish the year with a lot more runs than what I'm on right now.
Great one. It's great to see that you are, relishing all the accolades. Great one. I hope to be like you when I grow up. All right. So far, you've scooped.
I wish you to be better. I wish you to be better.
I will be there. That's if I can play cricket to save myself. All right. So far, you've scooped more Player of the Month, the match award. I've seen a lot of pictures with you picking Player of the Match. Player of the match against India, player of the match against Bangladesh, more than any player in the team. So what team were the most difficult for you to play? Because you cannot come up tops like this without having a bit of challenges. So what teams were the most difficult for you to play?
I think I try not to focus on the difficulty of the opposition. I think what I focus on is what sort of a mindset I have. Did I prepare well for the tour? And if I can be as relaxed on the match day and I can trust my preparation for any tour because I train and I prepare differently for every tour, if I can do that and it brings bring calmness into me. Once I have that, then all I focus about is just the ball. The battle is never against a country. The battle is always against a ball. And when I'm bowling, the battle is always against the batter and his skills. So if I look after my training and if I look after my mindset, then I've got a half a chance to do well. And sometimes that's all I'm looking for anyway.
Okay, I can't wait to see Zimbabwe at the Lord's Cricket Stadium. What would be your biggest achievement? You know, the Lord Cricket Stadium is where everybody wants to see the Zimbabwe cricketers go all out. And I can't wait to see you guys play there. So what would be your biggest achievement in the world of cricket, Sikandar?
So I think there are a few goals I've set, but before I hang my boots, I wanna make sure that I've given a very good shot at world #1 all rounder or world #2. Right now, I'm number 4 to 5 in the world. With a lot of ODIs coming, I would try and do as well as I can and see where it takes me. But to have that Zimbabwean representation on the charts, top 10 in the world in different formats, for me that has to be one of the biggest accomplishments.
Great. We will wait. We'll be counting, of course, time to see you accomplish all that you've tabled down. Now, away from your spectacular work at the Cricket Oval, you also have a heart of gold, Sikandar. I noticed your social media handle having a lot of pictures, and I noticed that you do some philanthropic work. Any plans of giving back to the community? Yes, it'll be in the history books that you were the first Zimbabwean to ever pick the Player of the Month, the ICC Player of the Month award. So, any plans giving back to the community?
So the plans are always there. So right now I'm playing a tournament, which is a club tournament, which is where my cricketing journey starts. So I've taken myself from international cricket back to where the cricket started for me. So that is something giving back to the grassroots when it comes to cricket. Then we're working on few charity. For example, right now we're working on a lot of kids with cancer. We want to make sure we are there financially and if there's any other support they needed. So myself and the community, the people that I grew with are part of that team. So we're doing a lot of my time is going there as well outside cricket. Apart from that, there are a few kids of Asian background that are playing cricket as well. So I try and go back, watch them play, see if I can help them in any way. But rather than giving back to the community, I actually believe there's a bigger goal for all international cricket, and it should be giving back to the cricket. So going to grassroots in different areas, that's what I want to do. I want to see, help wherever I can. And that's sort of the target I have for myself at the moment.
So I was indeed right when I said you had a heart of gold. Great one.
I'm not sure
great
about
that. You should be sure. You should be sure. This is a great plan that has been tabled down there to give back to the community. And I hope the charity work goes so well. And every single one who gets to partake or be a partaker of this work you're handing out would be blessed and happy to have you, Sikandar.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk about the T20 World Cup for 2022 next month, of course. And Zimbabwe have announced a 15-man squad for the ICC Men's T20 World Cup for 2022 to be staged in Australia starting from next month, of course, in October. Now, your team will face Ireland, the first 3 Group B fixtures, before taking on West Indies. Now, a lot of people say that this is the group of death. This is the group of death, Sikandar. But what should we expect from the man who has put Zimbabwe on the world stage?
So for me, regardless of whichever group we were put into, I personally didn't care at that time. Myself and the team wanted to make sure we qualify for the World Cup. We have done that, but the satisfaction of achieving something, it didn't really occur to us because we never wanted to be satisfied of just qualifying. We want to be satisfied going into the Super 12 and making headlines and beating some of the bigger teams, some of the bigger nations, and putting Zimbabwe exactly where it should be. So whether it's a group of death, whatever people are saying, our target remains the same. We want to make sure we win this group of death, as people say, and go into the main round and cause we upset. So that remains our target, and that still remains one of our goals, and the whole team is fully focused on that.
You're done in the African continent flag there in being Australia, and we can't wait. We would support you all the way You've got one supporter here. But now I had to go through some reactions online on social media. Some fans had to come out to say that Sikandar Raza should bat top 4, otherwise he will bat under pressure. Now, these are fans who have turned to coaches. What's your take on this?
So it doesn't really matter where I bat. For me, what is important is what does the team require on that particular day in that particular game. And whether you bat 1, 2, 3, 5, there's always pressure. And I'm a big believer of that pressure is a privilege of champions. If you cannot handle pressure, then international cricket becomes really tough for you. So pressure is a privilege. And if there is pressure, then so be it. We train under pressure. We put ourselves in a lot of pressure while training anyway. So the game day pressure shouldn't change anything.
How far do you think Zimbabwe will go at the World Cup, the T20 World Cup next month in Australia?
So our first goal remains to qualify for the super stage and then cause 3 upsets, and let's see where it takes. It's a beautiful. Sometimes it's a beautiful thing to be an underdog. So once we qualify for the main round, we have no pressure. It's always the other teams are under pressure, and on that day in T20, whichever team plays the better cricket can actually cause an upset. So we're looking forward for that, inshallah. So a lot of prayers are required for us to qualify, and I urge everybody to pray for us. And let's see what happens in the main stage.
Okay, let me make my prediction right now. Against India, yes, you'd pick the man of the match, player of the match. Against West Indies, let me give to you player of the match, because I support Africa all the way. Thank you so much, Sikandar Raza. So great and interesting talking to you. This man who has picked the ICC player of the month of August award. Now, he had to go in contention with 2 other players who were not from Africa, being the only African in contention, and he picked it. He did it. That is what Africa does. We dominate wherever we go. Thank you, Sikandar, and do have a pleasant day.
Thank you very much. You too.